at the John Kasich headquarters in Concord, the state's capital. Supporters and John Kasich himself will soon be gathering here, anxiously watching as the results come in. Now, Kasich is really hoping for a strong finish in the first in the nation primary. His campaign spent a lot of time here, more than 165 events. That's more than any other candidate. Kasich has said if he doesn't do well here in New Hampshire, this could very well be the end of the road for him. But some momentum for the campaign. He won the GOP vote from the first ballots cast at midnight in small-town Dixville Notch. And earlier today, he told us that his bus was on its way to South Carolina. In Concord, New Hampshire, Colleen Shaughnessy, NH1 News for Newsmax.
And our thanks to Colleen at NH1 filing that report a short time ago. John Kasich, as it now stands, number 2 behind Donald Trump. Trump projected the winner of tonight's New Hampshire Republican primary. Let's go to our man in Manchester. It's our good friend, John Gizzi, our chief political columnist and White House correspondent. So, John, what's the mood there in Manchester?
The mood in Manchester is that Donald Trump won a convincing victory that seemed to wipe away the embarrassment he suffered, the black eye, so to speak, when he lost in Iowa. At the same time, Kasich is in. He's not going anywhere, and he will be back in South Carolina to campaign, where he does have a following. As for the remainder of the candidates, it's all uncertain. One doesn't know yet, and one don't know for a while who will be third, who will be fourth, and who will be fifth. One thing is certain, there'll be fewer candidates in the race tomorrow than there are right now.
Well, who do you believe, John Gizzi, will be out of the race come tomorrow?
Carly Fiorina will, possibly Governor Christie, although he's defying expectations and he is hauntingly close to double figures within the state. The question has always been about Christie, where would he go from here? So I would say that 1 and possibly 2 candidates will be out of the race. The big 5 remain there: Trump, Kasich, Bush, Cruz, and of course, the person who is still hanging in there despite all of the criticism, Marco Rubio.
Yeah, it is interesting, and we will keep our eye on Marco Rubio. We heard Colleen say that John Kasich has dispatched his bus to South Carolina. So the bus is going down, and whatever advance team is there. But it would seem to me that it's going to be particularly rough going for Kasich in South Carolina. Does he really have the organization and following there to follow up on what could turn out to be a second-place finish tonight in New Hampshire?
Yes, he does, J.D., and I'll tell you why. The pastor who led him to Jesus Christ, and he credits this pastor in his book, is a very prominent South Carolina clergyman. He is someone who has opened doors in the Christian community to other candidates and is someone who will help Governor Kasich there. In addition, he has other people in elective office who've already signed on with the campaign. So don't believe or assume anything that you hear about South Carolina being terra incognita for Kasich. He's got friends down there and a following.
Well, Jeb Bush still has plenty of money to spend, and while he stands in third place right now, a percentage point ahead of Ted Cruz, it would seem to me that South Carolina will be much more hospitable to Jeb Bush than certainly Iowa or perhaps even New Hampshire.
Well, it ought to be. This is the state, J.D., where his father in 1988 clinched the nomination, defeating Bob Dole and Jack Kemp and others. It's the state where his brother, George W. Bush, won his first primary, defeating John McCain and then going on to win 4 other primaries and wrap up the nomination early. He has a history with the Palmetto State, and if he doesn't live up to it, I think he will be through as a candidate in a short time.
John, about 45 seconds before you go, Still chances for surprises tonight, correct? Only 7% in. This trend is not intractable or irreversible right now for John Kasich, is it?
No, I don't think for John Kasich, but I think for who's 3, who's 4, and who's 5, it is very much up in the air. And remember something, JD, according to the Secretary of State, this is a record turnout for the Granite State's first in the nation primary. Some polling places remained open later because the lines were so long, and it was cold out there, so it's going to take a little longer than historically has been the case to count all the votes. But the changes will be in who are the runner-ups to Trump and Kasich.
All right, we will keep our eye on that. John Gizzi, we will check back with you a little later from Manchester. For now, sir, you have our thanks.